Hello everyone, welcome to this interview series, and today we're going to discuss on the palindrome problem where we have to find a given integer is a palindrome or not. An integer is a palindrome when it reads the same backwards as forward. For example, let's take 1 to 1, the reverse is 1 to 1, which is a palindrome, and 1 to 3, the reverse of that is 3 to 1, which is not a palindrome, and same as like minus 1 to 1, the reverse is 1 to 1 minus, which is again is not a palindrome. Right, let's go and find a solution for this. All right, let's discuss this solution with two scenarios. One, the length of input passed is of even digit, for example 1 2 and 2 1. This length is of 4 and it is even, and in this case what we do, we're going to divide this into 2 half and reverse the second half. Then we'll compare this with the first half. In our case, reversed second half is 12 and the first half is 12, which are equal, and this is a palindrome. And the second scenario is where the length of the input passed is of odd. For example, 1 2 8 2 1. The length of this is 5, which is odd. In this scenario, again we will break this into 2 half and reverse the second half, which is 1 2 8. What we're going to do, we're going to discard the last digit and compare this with the first half. Again, in this case, the reverse digit is 12 and the first half is 12, which is equal, and again this is a palindrome. Right, let's discuss some of the boundary condition. If it is a negative number, then directly we say it is not a palindrome. Right, I would like to discuss another boundary condition. Since we are dealing with numbers, any digit which ends with 0 and the length of the digit is more than 1, we can safely say it is not a palindrome. For example, if you have 1 0, the reversed will be 0 1. Right, it will never be a palindrome. What I mean is, we cannot go and pass 0 1 0. Right, we cannot proceed a 0 on a number. Right, so we can consider this scenario. So any number which is ending with 0 and the length is more than 1 and that digit is not 0, that is not a palindrome. Alright, let's go and code. I'm going to create a class called palindrome number, and I'm going to create method is palindrome, and the input for that will be an int x, and this method is going to return a boolean. Let's call this as a static method, public static boolean. Alright, so first let's consider the boundary condition. So we have already discussed, if that number is a negative number, we're going to say it's not a palindrome, so we can return false. And also there's another boundary condition which we discussed. If a number ends with 0 and if it is not 0, then it is not a palindrome. So x modulus of 10, so we know if it is ending with 0, right, and if the number is not equal to 0, then we say this is not a palindrome. Right, the next step is we're going to divide and compare with the reverse. So we're going to create an integer reverse initial 0, and in the while loop what we do, we say x is greater than reverse, right, until we're going to iterate until this x is greater than the reverse, that means we technically reach a midpoint, right? Then we create another variable called reminder, which is x modulus of 10, and the reverse is reverse into 10 plus reminder, right? Then we're going to remove the last digit from the x, so since we moved that to the reverse, right? Then what we do, so we're going to return this, right? We're going to return if x is equal to reverse, that means it's a palindrome. If you remember this in other case, this works for the even number, I mean even digits. The length of the digit is even, then this scenario is going to work. If it's an odd digit is passed, then we have to remove the last digit and compare with x, right? So we're going to say x equal to reverse by 10. So we're going to remove the last digit and compare. So we're going to compare first for the even case. If that is false, then we're going to compare for the odd case. Got it? So there's another video on the reverse integers that you can go and have a look, so where we have discussed each of this line in details. That's there in the YouTube channel. You can go and watch that. Alright, so this is a solution. Let's go and test this out. Public static void main, and let's say we'll just print this out, okay, and say result and it's palindrome. So we're going to pass 1 2 2 1. So in this is an even digit scenario. Let's run this one. This should return as true. Cool. Yeah, this is working, so it's written as true. Now let's consider the test the odd scenario which we discussed. In this case, we're going to run this, and this also should be returning as true. Cool. Let's test 1 2 3, and this also should return false. That's right. 1 2 3 is not a palindrome. And the other scenario, boundary condition, where we have to check for the negative numbers. Let's discuss that. For the negative number, yes, it returned false. So all the scenarios which we discussed earlier is working fine. Hope you guys like this video, and also I'm going to put the Git repository in the description. If you have any question, definitely reach out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.